Hi, I'm Megan Kuhn with Powerhouse Real Estate, and today I want to talk about HOAs. They kind of get a bad reputation. However, there are definitely pros and cons to living in an HOA. So today I want to cover some of the pros and the cons so that you know before you buy into an HOA what you're getting into. Some of the cons when it comes to HOAs that a lot of people hear the horror stories of being micromanaged in the community or the HOA presidency getting mad at you for parking in the wrong spot or planting the wrong kind of tree. And that can definitely happen. When you sign into an HOA, you sign into the covenants of the neighborhood. So as a community, you're agreeing to these covenants that have been placed on the neighborhood. So if you are not following those covenants and rules, then the whole neighborhood has the ability to go after you to make sure that you're following those rules. They can fine you. They can even go as far as putting a lien on your home if you don't follow the rules and if you choose not to pay the fines. Another con when it comes to an HOA is if big expenses come up within the community, then they can issue an assessment to the entire community. So on top of your HOA fees, let's say you live in a townhome and the roof needs to be repaired, then they can issue an assessment because they don't have enough funds to do the work. So an assessment means that on top of your HOA fee, you have to also pay an additional amount to cover your portion of the work. And this is something you don't get to choose whether it's done or not. It's something, if it needs to be done and it's voted within the community by enough people, then you're required to pay it and it's issued against your property as an assessment. Another con when it comes to HOAs is, of course, the fee. The fees are able to go up and down depending on the needs of the community. So this is something you'll have to budget for, something that you'll pay every single month or year, depending on the setup of your HOA. And you have to make sure that it's within your budget to pay that, because at the end of the day, again, they can put a lien on your home if you choose not to pay your HOA fees. So you want to make sure that those get paid. Now, these HOA fees can cover things like just covenants and restrictions. Some HOAs, that's all they cover, which can be kind of a bummer. You're just basically paying to make sure that everybody follows the rules. But then there's pros, like some HOA fees will cover things like community pools, they'll cover community parks, things that you actually have access to be able to use. And so as you're looking through the HOA fees and understanding what they cover, you want to make sure that you're, number one, able to cover the cost, as well as it's something that you'd like to pay for. Let's talk about some of the pros when it comes to an HOA. Now, like I just mentioned, there can be some great pros, like you have access to community pools, community centers, you have access to parks, trails, things like that that your HOA might have. Another pro can be the maintenance part of an HOA. If you're living in a townhome community, the HOA is responsible for the maintenance of the exterior of the property, as well as all of the landscaping, the snow removal. This can be a huge pro. If you're busy and you don't have time to maintain a yard or shovel the snow, then you may love living in an HOA because it's all taken care of for you. If the roof needs repairs, the HOA goes in and does it. And so these are things that you can really take advantage of living in an HOA and having those things taken care of and not having to worry about managing those expenses or those contractors that are doing the work. In some cases, they can limit the number of rentals that are available in the community or the way they can be rented. In some cases, they may only allow a 6-month or more lease, or some cases, they may not allow anything less than a year. Some HOAs have specifically a percentage of properties that are available to be rented. And if that threshold is met, you have to go on a wait list if you'd like to rent your property. So these are things you have to consider if you're buying an investment property. You want to make sure that the HOA allows rentals and that it's available to you. Some pros to being an investor buying into an HOA is, again, that maintenance factor. A lot of the maintenance is taken care of. So if you're not living at the property and it's being rented out, having that maintenance taken care of for you is going to be great, because again, you don't have to manage it, but it's going to keep the value of your property because the maintenance is taken care of and the property stays in great condition. One last thing is as you're paying your HOA fee, and again, looking at what that covers, in some cases, your HOA fee will also include your water bill, your trash or city bills. And so that's something to keep in mind as well and can be a pro because it's all consolidated into one and it stays the same every single month. So that's something that you can keep in mind as you look at the breakdown of what's included. Sometimes it might feel like an extra expense, but it's actually offsetting some other expenses that you'd already have to pay anyway. Of course, HOAs have a little bit of a bad reputation, but I hope you learned something new. Some people love them, some people hate them, so you just have to decide what's best for you and decide if you're willing to live in an HOA or not, and we'll steer your search in the right direction. My name is Megan Kuhn with Powerhouse Real Estate.